What's up YouTube? I know this is a bit late, but since this is my first video this year, I want to start off by saying Happy New Year to all of you. I also want to thank everyone for the comments left on the previous 3 videos, which consisted of the Kygo cover I posted before Christmas, and both the preview video and cover for Wait For You, which were the last 2 uploads leading into my break back in August. Today's video will strictly consist of me talking, as I have a lot of things to discuss. I'm going to be talking about 3 things: Kygo's masterclass, me making music and having a stage name, and changing the name of this channel, which you probably noticed already. So first off, Kygo's masterclass. As I mentioned in the description of the previous video, I said that I was going to be taking this class, which was held by Kygo earlier this year in January. Prior to taking this class, I had very little experience with music production. I used Ableton a few times between 2018 and 2020, but never really did anything crazy with it. By the end of that class though, I ended up producing 3 entire songs. The company that made this class, called Monthly, weren't joking when they said that you'd have 3 songs completed by the end of this class, which lasted only 1 month. One thing I was worried about when I started taking this class was how well I can learn and understand, since Kygo uses the program Logic Pro X, while I chose to stick with Ableton. Not to mention, I still consider myself pretty inexperienced with Ableton since I didn't use it much and didn't know many functions behind it. However, the little knowledge I had from the times I used it, trying random things out, checking out tutorials, and the help of some peers, all really helped me use Ableton like a pro. One cool thing I want to mention about Monthly is that once you enroll in the class, they place you in a peer group of 20 people. Within this peer group, you can check out your peers' profiles, which can consist of a short bio, why they're taking this class, where they're from, and any socials they may have included. You can also post things such as text, audio, and even video, which was a huge part of this class. Before starting a song, you're given different options of how to begin. You can use one of the royalty-free demos from Kygo's library, use something original that you've made, or just find and use the a cappella of a song that's already out there. Personally, I ended up choosing demos for all 3 songs of the class. In terms of the time given along with the workload, I'd say that it was pretty good. You're given 13 days to start and finish the first song, 11 days for the second one, and just 6 days for the last one. The first song was focused on a synth lead melody, and the second one was focused on a vocal chop melody. The reason for this is because of how those are Kygo's 2 main ways of producing music. The third song, however, was a big experimentation process where you try to find your own sound, or just sounds you like. For the first 2 songs, you were given a certain amount of days to work on different parts of the song. Kygo's the kind of guy to start working from the drop, and then work backwards to complete it. Between a certain number of days, you would work on the drop first, then the build-up, the chorus, pre-chorus, verse, intro, and then finish off the second half of the song in proper order. After working on those different sections of the songs, you're told to hand in your projects by a certain date so that you can share what you've created and have your peers give you any advice. Peer feedback was a requirement for most of this class also, which was a really good feature. And again, you aren't held back from posting just those things. You can post any questions you may have, any audio updates you'd like to share, or any videos such as screen recordings. Personally, posting questions in that class helped me greatly. I had people help me out thanks to that feature, and for them being so kind, which helped me get through the class. I also made a few friends in that class, from one of them being not that far away from me, to another being all the way from Denmark. In regards to Kygo teaching, I can say that he definitely taught everything pretty well. He explained everything thoroughly, from his thought process all the way to the actual producing process in Logic. He also shared some nice tricks of his own, which sometimes gave off that Kygo signature vibe or sound. Overall, I'm grateful for taking this class. I finally learned how to produce music after many years of wanting to, and learned more than I could have imagined from that class. I want to thank the Monthly team and the Tropical House legend himself, Kygo, for putting together this class for people like me. If you guys are interested, I noticed yesterday that Monthly is starting up their classes from January again, and you have until March 19th to apply for them. So if you want to take the same class that I took and learn from Kygo himself, now is your chance. The second thing I want to talk about, which I pretty much mentioned already in this video, is that I've finally made music. During last month and this month, I've been polishing up and finalizing the 3 songs that I worked on in that class. I'm proud to announce that my first song will be released in just 1 week on March 17th. I'm planning to release my second and third songs as well, which will be 2 weeks apart along with the first one next week. So to summarize, my first song will be out next week today on March 17th, the second song will be out on March 31st, and the third song will be out on April 14th. One thing I want to note about these songs is that they started off as royalty-free demos in the masterclass, which means that you might hear different versions of the same songs out there. I'm mentioning this so that no one gets alarmed for when you happen to hear a different version of the same song produced by someone else. The name of my first song coming out next week is called Memories We Make. Now, you guys might be wondering if I'm going to be releasing it under my actual name or not, and where it'll be available. This is what ties into the third thing I want to talk about, which involves my channel's name also. After thorough thinking, I decided that I didn't want to release music under my actual name. It took a while to think of the name that I eventually chose, and the process was pretty hard, but also really funny. Thanks to my best friend Michael, we ended up going with the name Muserick. As you guys could tell, it's a combination of my first name, Eric, fused with the word music. It couldn't be any simpler and fitting for me, and I'm really happy with it. My artist profile for Spotify, Apple Music, and other streaming platforms won't be available until the first song is out, but once that song is out, you can find me without issue, and I should be the only one under that name. And just to confirm, my music will be available not only on Spotify and Apple Music, as it'll also be on other streaming platforms such as Tidal, Pandora, Amazon Music, etc. I also made a SoundCloud account where my music can be played for free, unlike those streaming platforms, for anyone who would like that. And of course, it'll be available right here on my channel as well. I also created social media accounts under the Muserick name so that I can finally have separate socials for my music life. For Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, I own the username MyMuserick. I also made a Facebook page under the name Muserick with the MyMuserick tag also. Unfortunately, the handle Muserick was taken for all of them, so I had to go with a compromise. I should mention, however, that I mainly only really use Instagram. I may post things here and there on the other socials, but I mainly made them for the sake of ownership. I also created a really cool solo.to page so that you guys can find all my socials and my artist profile on some of the streaming platforms under just one link. Lastly, I also bought the domain mymuserick.com for the sake of ownership as well. For now, it's connected to my active website that you guys know of, sheedymusic.com. Since I don't know what to do with the new site yet, I've set it to redirect you to the Sheedy Music website for now. I know I mentioned a lot, but everything will be linked in the description below. And finally, the thing that I've been meaning to bring up is the name change of my channel, which you probably noticed has already changed. Because of how I'm going with the Muserick name, I figured it would be best to have my channel under that name as well, since it wouldn't make sense to have this one as the only one that isn't. It's going to be an interesting change as I've had this channel under my own name ever since first creating it back in 2013. Instead of just Muserick though, I'm going to have it as MyMuserick since someone already has the Muserick channel, and since all my socials are under MyMuserick also. And another cool thing is the custom URL option that YouTube has, meaning that you can just type in youtube.com/mymuserick and my channel will pop up. One last thing I want to mention before the end of this video is the release of a song by one of my friends from the class. His name is Jacob, and I mentioned him earlier as the friend from Denmark. He released a song called 90s Kids Politics, which also started off as a demo from the class. I remember first hearing his song during the second week of the class and thinking that this guy could potentially be a ghost producer for Kygo because of how similar his style is and how good his production skills are. I'll leave a link for the song in the description below, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys check it out. So, that is everything I had to mention in this video. Remember to check out all the links below so that you guys can connect with me on social media, and I hope you guys enjoy the music, or Muserick, that will be out very soon. In the meantime, I will continue experimenting with producing and hopefully create more songs. Thank you guys, and peace out.